Cisco show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. We got a great show here today. My guest today, before I start, I want to say, today marks my 27th straight year televising the Hank Cisco show here at Norristown High School. And I want to thank the principal, the superintendent, John Doyle, and everybody for helping me during all these years. And, through them 27 years, I think I never got beat up, but I was in and out of the hospital quite a few times, so like I said, I never lost a fight in the dressing room, but I had 2 hip replacements, colon cancers, prostate cancer, eyes each, so I don't know. I'm 91 years old, and I think that I am the oldest talk host in the United States. I know I'm the only ambassador in the United States, so I'm just bragging. I just put you out there. But my guest today is, if he was a movie star, I'd say he was a celebrated. I say he's a celebrated chief of police from Upper Darby. I mean, there's chiefs of police and there's chiefs of police, and he has experience and knows how to. The bell rings, he's right in there fighting, and I know that he worked for Frank Rizzo, and we'll talk about that. So now I want you to meet my guest from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, Chief Chittwood. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Tell me now, what gave you the thing to want to be a policeman? What, you getting a couple street fights or what?
Well, I used to fight Golden Gloves. I fought 16 fights and lost all 16 of them. So I didn't do too well at that.
Golden Gloves and Daily News?
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia. This is years ago. I'm going back almost 55 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been in police work 51 years.
51.
Started my 51st year in April.
Hi.
And I can remember being on a safety patrol down in South Philadelphia.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I used to see the police officers and the way they treated people, and I would always talk to one officer in particular, and I just had this wonderful feeling of him being there to help people, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I took the police test when I was 19 in Philadelphia. I got on the Philadelphia Police Department at age 20. And
20? What was?
At that time, it was 20.
Wow.
So I was able to get on. I was 20 in January.
How many guys took the test?
Well, there were probably 200 or 300 people that had taken the test back then.
Yeah.
Back then. This is 1964. So that's far back.
1964.
Yeah.
1951, Norristown, they wanted 6 police officers. 6 applied, 1 didn't show up, and 5 was picked up. My grandson was West Norton Police. I think about 500 guys took the test for 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But there's something out there saying that police don't want to become policemen today because of problems and all. Is that, you got anything on that?
I hear that. I mean, we're given a test. I don't have any openings, and as of this Saturday, 267 people will take a physical for job opportunities, and we break it down pretty good ethnically. So it's a good opportunity. I mean, I love what I still love what I do.
Right.
I love to go into work every day. I enjoy it.
Right.
I got a great department. Like you, over the years, you've met a lot of wonderful people, and my adrenaline still flows. I mean, last night, the guy was wanted for murder in Philadelphia, and he was living out in Upper Darby.
He was wanted for murder someplace else.
He was wanted for murder in Philadelphia, living in Upper Darby, and last night we grabbed him. So I was
why
with
did
him.
they go to Upper Darby? What is it?
All roads lead to Upper Darby.
I mean, Upper Darby was a nice, calm place until you got there. Now you're locking everybody up.
Upper Darby's very unique. Yeah. They guesstimate census-wise about 82,000 people. There's over 100,000 people living in there, 8 square miles. In the schools currently, there are 70 different languages spoken representing 100 countries. So it's a very diverse community.
Do you have police officers that speak different languages?
I have 2 officers that are fluent in Spanish. Other than that, I don't have. I don't have that.
No, I was thinking that every police department should have, recruit. I thought Philadelphia Police has quite a few Puerto Rican, Hispanic police officers.
They do.
I was just wondering, some of them big departments like Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, they could, some, like Norristown, quite a few Hispanics live here. The time will come and maybe they want to borrow one of them police officers to, you know.
Well, we're big
Like-
in the translating organization, so we can basically go into a location. We have these touch cards where it has the different languages. I think
yeah.
we picked the top 20 languages.
Well, you
and
have
then
to
the
have it,
individual
you know.
can touch it, and then we hook up through the 9/11 system in Delaware County, and they hook us up to an outfit out in California.
Yeah, I mean, the first person on the scene of a crime is so important. What did he look like? Did he have a hat, coat, you know? And if he can't speak the language, he's losing time.
Right.
See?
Right.
So the time's going to come when, you know, that'll happen, you know. But now tell me, you used to work for Frank Rizzo.
I did.
Right.
I did. I worked.
Tell
for
me
him
what
as-
was like working for him.
Well, when I was a young police officer, he was deputy chief. And I'll never forget this. I was like 20 years old, and I was involved in a shooting. And Frank Rizzo called me at home, because back then I was taken off the street. I was placed, you know, in a kind of a shelter-in-place
Yeah.
proposition. And I'll never forget, Frank Rizzo called me at home and told me, don't worry about it. I looked at the shooting. It's fine. You'll be back to work soon. And that meant everything to me. I mean, it really, really did. And over the years, I got to be friendly with him. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was a cop's cop. He was out
Yeah.
there, supported his officers. And to be quite frank, if it wasn't for his support and mentoring, I wouldn't have been where I am today. You
yeah.
know, I've been a police chief
Well,
for
you
like
were-
30 years.
He allowed you loosen the reins so you could do some things, right?
He did. He
Use
did.
your own talents.
He
you
did.
know.
He was supportive, gutsy individual.
You know, we have some police officers today. There was a doctor that was doing a study about a policeman. The first one on the scene was a bloody guy's cut or whatever part, and it affects him the rest of his life. And it causes problems: suicide, divorce, alcohol, and everything else. So, you know, I know myself. When I became Norristown police officer, I got no training. They just give me a gun and a badge and a nightstick, and I had to pay 20% of my uniform. You know,
Right.
I don't know anything. I never saw dead people. The only dead people I saw was in the coffin.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, 3 days on the job, there was a guy making fireworks, and it blew up. Bodies all over the place. You know. So, but I thank God I had something, a religion or something, a family, to erase that. But today, if that happens to a guy, it affects him.
You know,
Do you have that problem?
I have a tough time with that, and I'll give you an example. I was a young police officer. I was at 55th and Pine, and I walked out the door. I'll never forget. It was April of 1964, and I walked out the door, and a woman screaming, "Help! Help!" So here I am. I'm here to save the world. I'm going to go help.
Yeah.
So I run across the street. I run up the street, and she said, "My boyfriend's inside. My boyfriend's inside. He's stabbed." I'm the first officer. Now, this is the police station, so it's right across the street from the police station. I go in, and I see this guy breathing, and every time he breathes, blood starts coming out of his chest like in 9 different spots. What had happened was it was a domestic violence thing, and she had stabbed him.
Oh.
And then subsequently, he died while I was in there. And then other police came, and I went outside, and the first thing I did is I regurgitated out on the sidewalk, and I thought to myself, is this what I want to do the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And that was 51 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been very, very lucky, very fortunate in the different things that I've been at. Again, 20 years old, August of the same year, the riots on Columbia Avenue.
Yeah.
I was thrown into that, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, how do people act like this? Why are they doing what they're doing?
When you were a rookie, did the experienced sergeants and captains and lieutenants ever play games on you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's the
Can
name
you
of
remember one? I have one that I remember. While you're doing it, I'll tell you mine. I drive, and I don't think I was a policeman for a year and a half or so, and like I said, I never saw dead bodies other than the funeral parlor, you know. And there was a bad accident. Guy got killed on the bridge in Norristown. So I said, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were driving. I says, I think I know that guy that got killed last night, but, he's dead. And he says, well, you want to see him? I says, well, he's dead. No. He says, no. He says, he's in the morgue. I know. I never was in the morgue. The only morgue in the morgue in the movies with
Right.
So finally, we went to Montgomery Hospital. The morgue was right next to the receiving ward. So he's in. Here's the body's there, with brown paper on. And he goes over and he says, he lifts it up there. I says, yeah, that's the guy. All of a sudden, he puts the light out, closes the door, and I'm in there by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm looking. I put my hand on my gun. I'm in complete darkness, the first thing would have moved, I'd have shot,
Right.
But that was a trick.
There's nobody moving
That
in the
was my
morgue.
first in the morgue, But that was, I learned more from senior police officers were on the job, and they didn't have nobody hardly had college education or anything. And
Nobody went to college
no,
back then.
I only had an 8th grade education when I applied. That's all you needed, But now it's more. What do you recommend now? There's a lot of, disrespect for police officers. What do you think? How can we
Well,
do this?
I'm big in the community relations. I believe that the police have to get out there. They have to deal with the kids. They have to talk with the kids. In Upper Darby, I have like 40 officers assigned to a mentoring program. A mentoring program. And what we did is we selected 5th grade as the grade. So every 5th grade in Upper Darby School District, and there's like 14,000 kids in Upper Darby School District, we send officers into the school to basically rap with the kids, to form a relationship, to let the kids answer any questions. And I have one of the classes, and what I do the very first day, we do it like once a month. The very first day is what I like about police and what I don't like about police.
Whoa.
And you're amazed that the kids will jump
What kind
up
of
and say,
boom? What kind of?
well, you get, they beat people, they shoot people, they arrest people, that type of thing. But, after you're done with them and you bring the dogs in, the canine, and you take them for a little tour of the police station, by the time you leave and you have a pizza party, you've made 60, 50 good friends. And they recognize that. And that's a
passes
big
on.
thing today.
They go home and tell their parents.
But I think overwhelmingly, the majority of communities in America today support the police. There's that 5-6% that want nothing to do with the police, but at the end of the day, they do.
Look, all sunshine makes deserts. You got to have rain, snow, hail if you want a beautiful garden.
Right.
So I don't care if it's a little tough day or so, it'll be over.
Right.
But I'm very happy about Norristown. We have a captain of police. I can't pronounce his name too well. His name Cluster, and he's very active, on the ball, education, and he's planning for the Pope coming and all. Really sharp, So I'm so proud that Norristown is moving ahead. Right. Although, I remember, what was the name of that comedian? Irish comedian down there. It used to be down
Cozy Morley.
Who?
Cozy Morley.
Yeah, Cozy Morley said, hey, Norristown. Anybody know about Norristown? Yeah, he says, you can travel a circumference of 3 miles and never leave the scene of the crime. All right, ladies, that's, oh my God, he was something, But what do you, how about community policing? What do you think of that?
It's my mantra. I got a philosophy, and I tell everybody I hire. And I was in Portland, Maine for 17 years. I was in Middletown Township in Bucks County for 4.5, and I've been in Upper Darby for 10. And every police officer I hire, this is my mantra. Treat everybody the way you want yourself and your family treated.
Right.
98% of the time, if you do that, you're going to win.
Yeah.
There's 2% that no matter what you do, you're in a battle, and that's what you're training for.
You can't satisfy everybody, that's
what
for sure,
you're training for.
And you know Fran Letter.
I did. Fran was a good friend.
He just passed away, last week. Monday's the funeral. My good friend, Fran Letter, what a great guy. I just want to say that he passed away last Friday. He was living down in Florida, and it's going to be on Frankfurt Avenue, Burns Funeral Parlor. Great guy. He helped me so much. He was Then he worked at Crown Cork and Seal.
Right.
And he was strictly, his blood was like police blood. I don't know, he's always doing something. A good writer, helping somebody. So God bless him. Right?
The sad thing is we sit here, we talk back to all
Yeah,
people we
well-
knew, and they're all gone.
Well, you
I mean,
know, I'm going to tell you, when I was, I'm going to tell our captain in Norristown, you know, like I say, he's on the ball. I want to show you, when I was in charge of the crossing guards, okay, I had them march, you know, and then I'd have them, talking about dangerous stranger, you know, how to direct traffic and who, you know. So I had a lot of fun when I was doing that. And this is the group here. And then when I was in charge of now, like a whole gang of them, right? So I'm a married man, and so the styles of women's dresses was getting short. So a couple of them were wearing short. So the other one says, "Hey, you wearing that short?" You know? So I says, "What am I going to do? This girl's got a short dress, and the other one's got a long." So I went to the Army recruiting. I says, "What's your regulation for the Army wax?" He says, "The skirt should be no longer than the break of the knee, and the hair no more than the collar." So that settled that. So, but
You were a tough taskmaster. huh?
and you know, and the crossing guards were big help. You know, and I wanted them to be dressed like police officers, and because if a guy's coming through town, he sees a woman there dressed like a cop or something, the guy's going to think, "I don't know, knock this place up. I got a cop here, you know, police car, you know."
Right.
But all right, so
Those days are over, though.
huh?
Those days are over of having
Oh
that
yeah,
type of
yeah. So, but you know,
uniform.
I got one here of Frank Rizzo, that you know, when he passed away, here's one here. I think I have here that he was a commissioner then, police commissioner. Yeah, and here's your good friend, Commissioner O'Neill.
Joe O'Neill,
Right,
yep.
and they were visiting police officers from England, and they came, and I was to show them around,
Right.
and I took them down, and Captain, or Commissioner O'Neill was so kind that, you know,
Right.
nice guy. We're going to hope to see him next week. You think?
I'm going to try.
All
I'll
right.
try.
So, got a young guy wants to become a policeman. What would you tell him?
I think in this day and age, because police officers are more educated, so
Right.
the first thing I would do is I would advise him or her to get their education.
I'm glad you said her, because women,
Him or her to get an education, preferably get at least a bachelor's degree,
yeah,
certainly an associate's degree. And then I would tell them to make sure that they're physically fit, that
Right.
they're in good physical shape.
and live a good
They
life.
gotta live that life, and it's not something you can do. You know, when you're 21 and I want to be a cop when I'm 22.
Right.
You need to be able to show that you have some integrity, honesty, a strong work ethic, a moral value system.
Yeah.
And then I would tell them to go for it. Now,
Right.
what I see is I see a lot of competition for minimal amount of jobs. If you look at Norristown or you look at Upper Darby, there's not a whole lot of opportunity. You got to go to the bigger cities, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. You got to be willing to relocate. Learn as much about the police organization as you want. Certainly, the more education you have, you're expanded. So you can go local, you can go state, you can go federal. The opportunities are much more broad.
Well, you know, I remember the International Police Association, and they have a visiting police officer from Japan. And Fran Letter calls me, he says, "Hank," he says, "show this guy around. He's down in Philadelphia, see how Philadelphia runs and all, Washington." So I took him, first place I took him, Italian restaurant, get some spaghetti. I want to get something in his belly, you know. And, but they had a training session, which I thought was really good. Because he says when a police officer is assigned to a beat, he goes and he knocks on the door. "Hello, my name's Officer so-and-so. I'm here working this beat. If you can help me, I can help you." and he leaves his card. And he gets to know everybody where he's going.
Right.
You know, you got, you know, what do they say? An informed nation is a peaceful nation.
It's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. It's
Right.
how you build it, and it crosses the board.
You know, Norristown's moving ahead. We just had Markley Street was like years ago that the trolley used to get down front. Now they just opened it both ways, you know, and that's helping the community as far as
Right.
businesses up in the other end of town, you know.
Right.
How about you had a big fire or something over there in
69th Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
How did it affect?
Well, basically, what we have is we have a very significant homeless population. And individual was staying inside a location on top of a store. He was ripping out the wires and junking it, and apparently smoking. As a result of his smoking, he accidentally started the fire. It was not intentional. Accidentally started the fire and then burnt down like 4 or 5 buildings, and basically impacted because the township's put a ton of money.
Well, when you have a major fire like that, you call the state police in, or you have your own experts?
Upper Darby has its own fire marshal and its own investigators who are arson
Right,
investigators, and we were able to identify the individual, arrest that individual, and subsequently they were able to open up 69th Street. Fortunately, nobody got hurt.
I don't know if you heard about it, but the Pope's coming.
I've heard about
Philadelphia.
it, believe me. I didn't invite him.
He's coming to Philadelphia. And I'll tell you, Norristown's doing a real good job. In fact, after this show, I got the captain of Norristown Police and somebody from SEPTA were telling how a plan they got as far as parking, getting in different places, you know. And so how about you? Is that affecting your?
Well, absolutely. We got 69th Street, so the Norristown high-speed line is going to arrive at 69th Street, which is ours.
Oh, you mean people come to 69th
Yep.
Street and get on there to go to Center City?
You get to the Owl. So, but basically what we're doing, we're working with SEPTA. We have National Guard troops. We have our own police officers. And we're shutting down the entire 69th Street area on Saturday night at 12:01. We're going to shut down the whole area.
That's
And we're
the
going to
first.
leave it shut Saturday
What time?
and Sunday.
What time you're going to shut that down?
Midnight. Midnight on Saturday night.
Midnight.
Friday night into Saturday. And it's just a mess. I mean, it really, really is a mess. I think the precautions you have to take are astronomical. Norristown,
Right.
Upper Darby, Lower Merion, Radnor, you name it. Anywhere where there's lines, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. I mean, I've investigated serial killers. I've never been to as many meetings as we had with the Pope. It's amazing.
Never.
It really
Unbelievable.
is amazing.
Right.
It's unbelievable. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like it.
Right. Well,
We live in a different world. In 1979, the Pope was in Philadelphia when Rizzo
I was there. I was there
and
when he was there.
it's nowhere near 79 what it is today.
But you know what? The day when Philadelphia stood still.
Yeah.
That day, I don't think there was a crime. And the other time that I remember that Philadelphia stood still is when Frank Rizzo was going up Broad Street. I was one of the pallbearers in the car.
Right.
Tears coming out of my eyes, falling out of hearse, you know.
Right.
But I tell you, people were going up there, people kneeling down, blessing themselves, went by the hospitals there on Broad Street, heading up to, what's the name of that cemetery up in Cheltenham?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name.
I can't think of it, but that was something where now somebody wrote an article and he says, you know, the Pope is coming and the stores are going to close. People can't get to work. Boop, 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 boop. I says, well, you know, how about when there's a blizzard and snow, when your car's stuck there and you can't go to work and you have no electric, you have this, that, and everything. Shut up, sit down, and fold your hand like in a Catholic school. The nuns, shut up, sit down, fold your hands, you know. That was the command.
Right, I know. I went through
So,
it.
so I'd rather see somebody come and with cheer and love, you know, rather than snow where I can't move. All right. Now, how many men on your department?
I got 133 sworn.
What?
133. I run about a $27 million budget.
How many square miles?
Less than 8.
What do we?
7.85?
Well, I think Norristown's 3 square miles. I think we got 60 or 65, something like that, you know. But you got 100 men there?
I'm 33.
And how many, how do you break it down? Like, how many departments, like detectives?
I have patrol, I have investigations, I have narcotics, I have bike unit, I have highway patrol. So I break it down across the board. Community relations.
You got community relations?
Yep.
How about the PAL? You involved with the PAL a little bit?
We have the PAL, but that's a separate entity. It's not directly related to the department.
Okay.
I have 1 or 2 guys who work the PAL in the summertime. Basically, our focus is on basketball, so we use one of the middle schools, and we have a basketball league, and we work with officials from Philadelphia to run that program.
Oh.
It's a good program.
All right, now, I want to get personal. What's your favorite food? In all the restaurants.
Probably salmon, grilled salmon.
Grilled salmon. All right, yeah, but you know, got all these different restaurants in Philadelphia.
Grilled salmon in every one of them.
All right, Chief, listen, thanks a lot for being on the show here today. And we're talking about the good old days and today. And I'm so happy that you're still in good shape, you know, keep fighting. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come into your home. And please, respect. Respect is a big thing. And respect for people that they're risking their lives. You know, I spent 25, 26 years in Norristown Police and 13 with the county detectives. And I thought that, but my feeling was that I'm a public servant. I'm helping people. And my mom always says, do good and forget. Do bad and regret. God bless each and every one of you. Adios for my Hispanic friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, here's a little something I'm giving you, appreciation, right? Where's the boxing glove? Did I get that? You got that already?
I got the boxing glove.
All
Thank
right,
you.
and you got my card. This is in case you get any parking tickets in Norristown, mention my name, pay the fine.
Okay, I will.
Okay?
You got it.
You know, so it's really, you know, it's so good to have visiting police officers come into town. That's great. God bless you.
Thank you.
Keep bobbing and weaving.